Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're getting right down to the cellular level, that constant battle going on inside our bodies. The immune system versus cancer.
Yeah, and I've been doing some reading on this, for our deep dive. Have you ever heard of this protein, TNFR2?
I have, actually.
Hmm.
And the more I learn about it, the more it seems like we're really looking at the future of immunotherapy here.
It's cutting edge stuff. See, what makes TNFR2 so fascinating is it's like almost like a control panel, and tumors can actually manipulate this control panel to, hide from the immune system.
Okay, so let's break that down. We've talked about immunotherapy before, right?
Yeah.
Basically, how do we give our body's natural defenses a boost to fight tumors? But it's not that easy, is it?
Not always. Cancer cells are tricky. They're constantly evolving, figuring out new ways to basically evade or even suppress the immune system altogether.
Sneaky little.
That's where TNFR2 comes in. It's a protein. It hangs out on the surface of certain immune cells. And the thing is, it plays this really critical role in how our immune system actually responds to these threats.
So TNFR2 is kind of like the communication hub for the immune system.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay.
Now, under normal circumstances, TNFR2 is actually a good thing. It helps keep everything in balance, make sure that the immune system isn't overreacting and attacking healthy cells.
Right, right.
But cancer cells, they've learned this really sneaky trick. They can exploit TNFR2, basically hijacking it to protect themselves.
So it's like they're using our own defenses against them.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating, but fascinating at the same time. And to really understand how they do this, we have to talk about a particular type of immune cell. They're called regulatory T cells, or TREGs.
Tregs.
Yeah.
Okay, like training wheels for your immune system or something.
Well, not quite, but I like the way you think.
Okay.
Imagine TREGs more like the peacekeepers.
The peacekeepers, okay.
Right. They keep everything in check, make sure your immune cells aren't, going rogue and attacking your own body.
Which you don't want, obviously.
Which is a good thing, right? You want that. But here's the thing. Tumor cells, they can actually increase the number of these TREGs in the tumor environment. And it turns out not all TREGs are the same.
Oh, so there are like different types of peacekeepers.
Exactly. You've got some TREGs that are really good at suppressing these killer T cells.
Yeah.
Now, those are the ones that are really effective at destroying the cancer cells. Then you have other types of TREGs that might actually do things like promote blood vessel growth in the tumor, which helps it thrive.
Oh, so they're helping the tumor grow.
Helping the tumor grow, exactly. So by, increasing the number and the activity of these TREGs, the tumors are they're building themselves a little fortress. They're hidden from the immune system.
Wow. That's really devious. And that's where the TNFR2 comes in again.
That's right. Tumors can manipulate TNFR2 to increase these TREG populations. It creates this immunosuppressive environment.
So they're basically telling the immune system to stand down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. They're sending this constant signal saying, stand down, everything's fine here, nothing to see here. And that prevents the immune system from launching a full-on attack.
Wow. So TNFR2 is really a major player here in helping those tumor cells get away with basically evading the immune system.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing this is why scientists are so excited about it, right? Because if you could somehow block that stand-down signal,
You're on the right track.
then the immune system might finally be able to fight back.
Blocking TNFR2 has become a very promising area of research in cancer immunotherapy. It's like we're cutting off the enemy's communication lines.
I like that.
And one way that researchers are trying to do this is by using antibodies. You've heard of these.
Oh, yeah.
There's one in particular called TR-7589.
Antibodies, yeah. Now we're talking. Okay, so antibodies, those are like, what, those tiny little warriors, right? Going in there, like in a sci-fi movie, programmed to take out a specific target.
That's actually a great way to think about it.
Okay.
And TR-7589, this antibody, it's like an elite soldier. It's trained to target TNFR2 very, very precisely. So it basically binds to TNFR2 and blocks those stand-down signals that the tumors are using to manipulate the TREGs.
So it's disrupting the communication right at the source.
You got it.
Okay.
And without those suppressive signals, the other immune cells, those killer T cells we were talking about, well, they're free to do their job, which is to recognize and destroy those cancer cells. And what's really exciting about this is, unlike some of the other immunotherapies out there targeting this TNFR2, this could actually be effective against a lot of different cancers, which could make a difference for a lot of people.
See, this is what I love about these deep dives. Always something new. always something potentially groundbreaking. So TR-7589, okay, it's promising on its own, but would it be even more effective, you think, as part of a combination therapy?
You're thinking like a scientist now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are. Because combination therapies, that's where it's at, hitting that cancer from all sides. That's becoming really important in oncology these days.
Right, like a multi-pronged attack.
Exactly, a multi-pronged attack. And there's already been some really interesting research combining TR-7589 with some of the immunotherapies that are already out there, especially these things called immune checkpoint inhibitors. Have you heard of those?
Immune checkpoint inhibitors. I feel like I have, but honestly, I need a little refresher.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so immune checkpoint inhibitors, they're kind of like they're like cutting the brakes on the immune system.
Okay.
So our immune system, it has these like natural brakes, right? We call them checkpoints.
Mhm.
And they're there to prevent the immune system from going too crazy and attacking healthy cells, which is important, obviously.
Oh.
But sometimes cancer cells can actually hijack these checkpoints.
Oh, no, really?
They trick the immune system into basically staying in park.
Wow. Sneaky.
So these immune checkpoint inhibitors, like anti-PD-1 and anti-CTLA-4 antibodies, what they do is they release those brakes. They let the immune system go after the tumor.
So it's like we're releasing the parking brake and then giving the immune system a push to get moving.
Exactly, you got it. And when you combine these checkpoint inhibitors with something like TR-7589, which is going after those TREG peacekeepers in the tumor microenvironment, well, you're basically clearing a path for the immune response to be way more effective.
It's like you're describing a whole battle plan for the immune system. But I imagine, like with any complex military operation, there's got to be some challenges, right? Logistical hurdles and stuff.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. This research on TNFR2, it's incredibly promising, but we got to be patient. Scientific progress takes time. We have to be very careful.
Of course. So what are some of the challenges then that researchers are still trying to figure out?
Well, for one thing, figuring out which patients would really benefit the most from these TNFR2 targeted therapies. See, not all tumors express TNFR2 at the same levels.
You got to find the patients whose tumors are really relying on that TNFR2 communication, right?
That's it. That's exactly right. Researchers are trying to develop ways to, identify these patients more effectively. Who's going to respond to this treatment the best? That's the key, right? Personalized therapy, the right weapon for the right target. And of course, like with any powerful therapy, there's potential side effects, and you got to manage those very, very carefully.
Right. It's a balance, as always.
Yeah.
Maximize the good, minimize the bad.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. So yeah, a lot of work still to be done, figuring out the best combinations, how much to give, the treatment plans for all the different types of cancers. But there's this other really fascinating avenue of research that I think you're going to find really interesting.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, we've been talking about DNFR2 in the context of cancer this whole time, but the thing is, its role in regulating the immune system, well, it's not limited to just fighting tumors.
Wait a minute, really? So you're saying there are potential applications beyond cancer treatment?
You got it.
Ugh.
Remember how we were saying that TNFR2 is kind of like the control panel for the immune system?
Right.
Well, what if we could figure out how to, adjust those controls in a way that could help patients with other diseases, diseases where the immune system is out of whack?
Now you've really got my attention. So what other diseases are we talking about here?
Well, think about autoimmune diseases. In these conditions, it's like the immune system is like, it's like a watchdog, but it's hyperactive. It starts attacking the body's own tissues. Like, it thinks they're invaders.
Right. Like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, where your immune system attacks your joints or your skin.
Exactly. So in these cases, the problem isn't that the immune system's too weak. It's that it's like overreacting, right?
Right.
And remember how we were saying that TNFR2 can actually dampen the immune response?
Yeah.
By boosting those peacekeeping trigs?
Oh, right. Yeah. So instead of blocking TNFR2 like you might with cancer, could you enhance it to calm things down?
Now you're getting it. That is the million-dollar question. And that's actually something that researchers are looking into right now. I mean, theoretically, if you could, develop a therapy that could kind of carefully boost TNFR2's activity in specific cells, well, then you might be able to restore that balance to the immune system and maybe even get those autoimmune diseases under control.
That's pretty amazing. So,
Yeah.
So this one protein, TNFR2, it could be the key to both boosting the immune system and suppressing it, depending on what you need. It's like, I don't know, like a finely tuned instrument or something.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. And it really highlights just how complex our immune system is and how powerful it is too, right? The more we learn about all these little pathways, all these interactions, the better we're going to be at developing these really targeted therapies for all kinds of diseases.
Yeah. Really makes you think, you know.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you start with this research on how tumors are exploiting TNFR2, and you end up with all these new possibilities, not just for cancer, but for autoimmune diseases too.
Absolutely. And we're just scratching the surface here. There's still so much we don't know about TNFR2, all the different forms it takes, what it's doing in different types of cells, how we can actually really manipulate it and use it to help people. It's a really exciting field to be watching right now. Things are changing so fast.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive as always. We started out at the micro level, talking about proteins and cells, and now look at us. We're talking about the whole immune system, how we might be able to regulate it, come up with all these new therapies. It really shows how everything is connected, inside the body.
It really does. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that, science, it can be a slow process, right? A lot of little steps along the way. But then all of a sudden you have these incredible breakthroughs and they end up affecting all these different fields.
Absolutely. And we'll be here to keep following the research on TNFR2 and all the other exciting stuff that's happening in immunotherapy so you can stay up to date and learn all about this amazing science that's happening.
That's right.
Until next time, keep asking those questions. Remember, the best discoveries, they usually start with a simple question, like, what if?
Exactly. What if?